Hello, everyone. Jason here. I'd like to talk to you about Deepseek, the new AI coming out of China. You might have heard about it recently in the news. It's made a big splash, and for good reasons. A lot of people claim it has surpassed OpenAI's ChatGPT. So in this video, I'm going to show you the steps to take to bring you from a beginner to a power user. Let's go. All right, to get started, you're just going to go over to Start Now and click sign up. Or if you want to use your Gmail account, you go log in with Google. You go the email route, you set the usual name and password and get a code and type back in here and you can log in. I'm going to have to log in since I already have one, and I'll see you guys on her side. All right, so now that we're in Deepseek, let's walk you through the layout real quick. On the left-hand side, that's how you get a new chat. However, once you sign in, you'll always have a new chat ready to go. Down here in the bottom left, when I get the app, there's a QR code to scan with your phone's camera. And depending on which one you have, Android or Apple, they'll download the app for that specific phone. The My Profile has the logout, contact us, delete all your chats. That's what these are up here. These are old chats. Go to our settings. And if you want to have a dark theme, because the light is bright on your eyes, you change to that one. And in Profile, you could change things here, delete your account. However, if you notice, there's no password thing. In order to change your password, you have to do it on the home page by saying you forgot your password. The actual usage of the items, this Deepseek R1, that's the reasoning problems. I'll get to those in just a second. Search actually goes to the web and searches the web for an answer. And this button here, like everything else, you probably notice nowadays if it's got the little paper clip, it's for uploading documents. So I'll go through an example of uploading something that's very long, and I'm going to ask it to summarize it. That's something cool it could do. But let's start with the coolest feature it has. It's Deepseek R1. This is what landed with a splash here in America. It has amazing reasoning problem-solving skills. So let's say, hey, Deepseek, tell us what the pattern is here and what will be the next number in this series of numbers. And for those of you following along at home, if you figured out what it is each number is going up by an odd number from the previous number, starting with number 5. So it's 1 plus 5 equals 6, 6 plus 7 equals 13, 13 plus 9 is 22, and 22 plus 11 is 33. So with that pattern, our next number is going to be 33 plus 13, so the answer is 46. So let's make sure this is on and click this up button. So you can see it's actually thinking. It's not like other AI where it just spits out an answer. It's actually almost like a brain here. It's thinking about it and it's reasoning and it can spit out what it thought. And it's talking to us like a person. Okay, let's see. Even that's pretty cool. It talks like a human. I don't know if that's scary or not. But what it's doing here is breaking down the problem. And that's using what's knowledge of math is and other knowledge of how to actually answer this question. And it's going through a lot of math here to try to figure out, and it's testing things. So I haven't done reasoning in a long time. I don't remember how we figured this out in math class back in high school, but I hope something this small of a question didn't take us this long. However, as a computer doing all this, I'm fine with it showing us the work, right? Showing us the work is very important when doing math problems. And it's still going. And here you go. The next number is 46. That's the answer. Look at that. Pretty smart, huh? So that's its amazing reasoning skills, right? It's pretty good at math. You could try asking it why your wife is mad at you. You may not get a correct answer. Maybe you do. If you ever do, drop a line in the comments to say, hey, this actually works. Talking to my partner, and it figured them out. So if that were true, let us all know so we could use this too, because sometimes it's an enigma. All right, next up is writing. Say you want to write an email to your boss explaining why sales figures for the quarter are down year to date or even year over year. It's not a good email you want to send. You got through all the politics and all that stuff involved in this one simple email. So what you do, you ask Deepseek, you can just ask it to write me an email, explain to my boss sales figures are down for this quarter, and let's see what it says. All right, just put that in the chat box again, write your question, and hit either enter or the blue button. And it's going to be using its reasoning skills to think. Oh, look at it. It doesn't just give us answers. It mustn't know more things like, hey, what's your role? But it is giving us some tips, like here it says, avoid jargon, keep the tone professional, yet approachable. It's telling us actually what to do. So as you can see, it told us how it came to its conclusion of actually writing this email. All right, this is going on for a while, so I'm going to stop it. But as you can see, these are all things it's telling you to put in your email to have a better email with your boss. You could say, hey, I want to change this so make it shorter and heavier. And it's rethinking, trying to figure out, okay, how do I do that? And then it spits out its answer. But there you go. So it has no idea what we actually do. It's just guessing here, and it just gave us a short email. But as you can see here, it has a tone we want, which is much more upbeat. I think it's pretty cool to have something that can easily help you write an email to somebody or a conversation to have with somebody in a tone that you might not be good at. You could always ask this thing to do it for you. Now, I thought Deepseek's writing abilities was pretty cool, so I want to test its instructional abilities as well, where it's going to show us how to create a recipe for chili if we don't have kidney beans. So let's go with that. Okay, let's see what it does. So it's think it as usual, and it's going to be basically talking aloud here. So it did a lot of thinking just to give us bean substitutes, but here's some non-beans, which is great, because I was going to ask it, what should I use besides beans? That's pretty cool though. It says, if you're skipping beans entirely, add some veggies, grains, or meat for bulk. Okay, adjust the spice level, and you could simmer for even longer. That's pretty cool. That's actually a cooking tip, I'd say, more than a recipe one. So this is the recipe, but how do you actually cook it? So now I'm going to ask it to give us the step-by-step instructions how to cook. But if you don't want to do its reasoning, it's more of an instructional thing, you can also stop if you want, uncheck the reasoning part, and ask it the same question again, and it won't be thinking as much. It'll just spit on an answer. See, it's much faster, right? That's why the reason it has to think and actually do work in its head, if you want to call it that, before it gives you an answer. This one, when you have this off, it's just really using its AI LLM models. So I think we get the hint here, but that's how the difference between its reasoning model and its non-reasoning model and how much faster it is. I now want to show you its search capabilities with the web, so I'm going to turn that on, and we're going to ask it to generate a list of 10 unique places to visit that have comfortable weather in the month of June for an American couple in their 30s. So let's ask it that and see what it says. As you can see, it's found 47 results from the web, and now it's going to give us those results and break them down to the 10 unique places we want for our demographic of an American couple in their 30s. So far, the trend looks like it's staying within America. So I'm going to stop it because it looks like that's the trend. And I'm going to turn on its reasoning model. So what it gives us are more, like I say, factual answers. But let's give it something to think about it. Let's say we're in New York. My girlfriend is afraid to fly, and we only have 5 days for vacation. She also burns very easy. Where does it recommend now? So we have Deepseek on, the R1 version. We still want to search the web. And actually we'll say, include a price under $1,000. So now it's actually going to have to think of things. It can't just spit out something that's found on Wikipedia. It has to take our specific scenario with our budget, our time restraints, and the fact that my girlfriend is a day walker who cannot stand the sun. As you can see, it's going through a lot, so I'm going to speed it up to get to its answer. Again, this is whenever it's in this text that looks all gray with this line here, that means it's just thinking. It's not even going to give us an answer yet. Oh, here we go. So I'm going to stop it. It gave us... Oh, so going, even though I stopped, I have no idea why it keeps going. There you go, it stopped. Okay. So as you can see, it factored in all this information it thought about. And it said why something doesn't work, why it might work. It did think we're in New York City and not New York State. I wasn't exactly specific, so we'll give that a benefit of doubt. It says New York City instead of New York. But it does have everything else in here. It says Sun-safe getaway, the Adirondacks, Hudson Valley. I also have some budgeting for lodging and food activities, and it has an estimate for us. That's pretty cool. They all work for us. Hopefully it's right. With any kind of AI model, I highly recommend checking to make sure it's right before you act on any of its advice. That question had both these on. The next one I want to do is just a straightforward question to have it teach us something, say for a student or you're a professional and you want to learn more about a topic you have to for work. Let's ask it a simple question. I'm going to simply ask it, what's the difference between the Arctic Circle and Antarctica? And since this is more of a factual answer, it doesn't really have to reason. As you can see, it's much faster and it's just giving us bullet points of what's the different scenarios. And the final answer is the Arctic is frozen ocean with human inhabitants and iconic predators like polar bears, while Antarctica is remote ice-covered continent ruled by science and penguins, meaning there's no polar bears. So that's the kind of things that most AIs do. If you do the deep think reasoning, I did this before the video, it runs through the exact same thing. It shows here, it's just more thought out. Just thinks about it more and walks through the reason why they're different. I recently learned that one has bears and one doesn't. So Arctic means bears, Antarctic means no bears. Speaking of work and school, say you're using this to create an Excel spreadsheet, right? Both of those always require Excel. Let's ask it to create an Excel spreadsheet that has the top 5 performing teams in the NFL with a quarterback over the age of 30. So I'm going to turn on search because I don't know what it knows in its brain. I'm going to ask it to search the web for this answer, and let's see what it does. So this is going to first answer the question, and then it's going to turn that into something we can take and bring into Microsoft Excel. So there's the steps. It's gathering its data, and now it's creating its Excel spreadsheet table. And step 2 is telling us how we actually get that into Excel. And then it's showing us how to get the actual graph for step 3. So that's what it looks like. And if we followed exactly its steps, line by line, we should get this. And that's its analytical abilities, right? Pretty cool. It just gave us some code we can copy, and I want to expand on that. So in life, there's a thing called Python. It's a computer programming language that a lot of people use to automate boring tasks in their life. So let's ask it to automate something like writing a Python script to open up all my Outlook emails and find the one from Karen, put them in a folder called shh, and was done by oldest to newest. So we don't need a web search for that one, and we'll see what our answer looks like. So it's telling us what we need to use. I'm not a Python scripter, so I don't know what PYN32 is. But here's the code. And it's telling us how it works. Isn't it awesome? I can't believe this stuff does it so easily. I think AI is really going to make things a lot easier going forward for a lot of people, especially the tech illiterate. They just have to ask the question. I'll give them whatever they need. It's pretty awesome. The last thing I want to show you guys is the upload button, the clippy paperclip thing. So you can click that, and I want to show you before I do that. I had AI write a story about a duck from Willow Pond. So I'm going to upload this to Deepseek, and we're going to ask it to summarize the short story. So it's uploaded, and we've just asked it to summarize. And the reason for this is I just want to show you that you can upload things to it and analyze whatever you've uploaded. So whether it's an Excel spreadsheet, a Word document, a PDF, PowerPoint, whatever, you could upload it and ask any kind of question, and it should be able to do whatever you ask it. Like, this thing gets smarter every day, so who knows what to do tomorrow, right? Well, that's my video on Deepseek. I hope it was helpful for you. I just want to point out this video here. It has nothing to do with AI. I just thought it's a cool video I'd like to share with you guys. It's about a guy who built a bike that has giant balls instead of wheels, and it could go in any direction. I think it's pretty cool, so go ahead and check it out. All right, guys, best of luck.